Ryan Wilkes here with you on the Eagle Sports Network for a women's soccer matchup tonight between your Carson-Newman Eagles and the Emory Henry Wasps here from McCown Field. Should be a fun one. Emory Henry has impressed so far through the first 5 games of the 2023 season. After last year, 3-11-2 with a 0-9-2 record in the SAC. The last time these two teams faced off, Carson-Newman exploded offensively. 6-0 they won on September 21st, 2022. Carson-Newman leads the series history 1-0, only the second time these two teams have matched up. But Carson-Newman so far in the month of September, 0-3-1 after the season opening victory against North Greenville on the final day of August. So the Eagles looking to get back in the win column tonight, coming off a 2-0 loss at Wingate on Saturday. Tied Young Harris 3-3 on September 6th, lost to Lee 3-0 on September 2nd, and then against Anderson on September 9th, a 1-0 loss. So far, Emory and Henry 1-1-3 on the year. A loss to Radford to start out the year. Lost to Shaw 2-0. Tied King 1-1. Took down Bluefield State for their first and only win so far of the 2023 season, 3-2. Tied Belmont Abbey 0-0, and at Newberry a 1-1 tie. So Emory and Henry's been able to manufacture some points so far this year. Carson-Newman so far in the South Atlantic Conference 0-1. Emory and Henry has that one tie so far this year at Newberry. So ready to go here from McCown Field. Starters for Emory and Henry: Emery Conklin, Lucy Dunlop, Olivia Da Silva, Olivia Haynes, Adrian Harris, Hannah Kirsch, and Carlin Cuters. As we're ready to go here from McCown Field. Back in the net for both teams, you got Danielle Lacey for Carson-Newman and Adriana Reg for the Emory and Henry Wasps. Far side now, Eagles won't put it in play. That back line of defenders, it's Abby Zander right side. Anna Fenn getting the start tonight for Carson-Newman. Now here left side for Carly Pettit. Midfield stripe, still Carson-Newman kicking it around. Now playing it down the left side. It's Pettit near the midfield stripe. Carson-Newman looking to get something set up offensively to start out tonight's action. Just under 1 minute in. It's Addie Henry down the right side, deflects off of the Wasps, and Henry will have a throw-in for Carson-Newman. Last year, Carson-Newman handled Emory and Henry pretty easily. A 6-0 win. Felicia Frick with 1 goal. Selena Judd had 2, and Addie Henry with 1 as well. It's now Pettit left side, playing it down near the corner. Defending is Kirsch, now into the box. It's headed into the box. Selena Judd is after it, but Emory and Henry able to clear it over that right sideline towards Fenn. Fenn now into the box, and the keeper, Reg, snares it. A header attempt there for Nielsen coming into the box, but no dice as Reg is able to grab it out of the air. Early action here for the Eagles and the Wasps. 43:04 in the first half. An injury to Reg. She's a little shaken up. Looks like she'll be all right. So Reg getting ready to play it out of the box. Again, Carson-Newman still looking for that first win in the month of September. Does have a point with the tie at Young Harris. That was a back and forth game between the two. As Reg boots it towards midfield. Now played down the sideline. It's Pal's daughter giving chase. She plays it back towards Lacey. Pal's daughter near side. Play it cross field to Zander. Abby Zander moving it up for Carson-Newman. The Eagles have it far sideline. Now played back towards the middle of the field. A turnover. As it's Caroline Coders. Good defense by the Eagles. Now back towards the midfield stripe. Emory and Henry still has it. Nielsen defending, and she's fought out of bounds. It'll be a turnover for the Wasp. It'll go back to Carson-Newman. The Eagles like that early on, some defensive pressure as this one deflects off the chest of Nielsen, now in play for the Wasps. Towards midfield, the Wasp and the Eagles going back and forth so far tonight. No score early on. Zander has it back in the defensive half. Played down the far sideline. Giving chase as an Eagle down that far sideline, and it's put out of bounds by Emory and Henry, so it'll be a throw-in. Far side for Anna Caffent. It's Judd. Back towards the midfield stripe for Zander. Now it's Pal's daughter. Played towards the middle. Nielsen giving chase, but booted out by the Wasps. Carson-Newman controlling possession early on, as it's Zander now near midfield. Again, only the second time these two teams have met. As now it's played down the field. Zander giving chase. And Lacey will scoop it up at the top of the box. Zander far side as she looks to get something going for this Carson-Newman offense. Just 3 goals here in the month of September for the Eagles. They've been shut out 3 times. Again, that 3-0 loss against Lee here at home. Against Anderson, a 1-0 loss. And at Wingate, a 2-0 loss. So Carson-Newman looking for some offensive momentum as now near side it's Coders. She gets past Pal's daughter near the midfield stripe. She'll play it towards the middle now. As Dunlop gives it away. Near side it's Savannah Fields. She'll play it towards Pettit. Pettit keeps it in play for Carson-Newman. Right back to Fields. Gives it back to Pal's daughter, and the Eagles look to set something up here early. 39:57 in a rolling clock here in the first half as Zander plays it down the far sideline. Now in the middle, it's Nielsen. Nielsen off the shin guard of, I believe that was Dylan Copeland. Zander giving chase. The Wasps with a little bit of a run there, nothing happening as Lacey controls it on the back end for the Eagles. Zander now far side, plays it towards midfield. It's now Pettit. She plays it down the far side. Nielsen over there. I believe that's Fields, actually. As that'll be a throw-in for Carson-Newman. Goes off a deflection of Emory and Henry. Far side giving chase is Maya Bingson. As it goes out of play, it'll be a throw-in near the corner for Carson-Newman. So the Eagles working down towards that attacking part of the field. As it's far side for Henry.
Get up, out of the box, out of the
Henry
box,
now
Lacey.
to Frick. Nielsen at the top of the box, tries to play it in, but taken away by Olivia Haynes.
Off the side.
Here comes Emory and Henry looking for their first big run of the game here. As Dunlop plays it towards the middle. Taken away at midfield. It's Fields now. Looking up the field. Eagles now looking to push. Fields plays it down towards the box. It's Judd giving chase, but scooped up by Reg. Actually, it's played back towards the midfield stripe now.
Beware of the long, beware of the long.
Pal's daughter controls it for Carson-Newman. No score here early. Both teams going back and forth. No real chances so far. No shots for either side. Far side now. Looking across into the box. I believe that's Frick. As now into the box. Carson-Newman with a chance here. But Emory and Henry able to clear it. Zander giving chase far side, and it goes off of her leg. Emory and Henry throw it. Maybe the best chance of the night so far for Carson-Newman. As Maya Bingson looked like she had a chance at it, but Emory and Henry able to clear it. Carson-Newman does have one shot on the night, no shots on goal for either side. Good job defensively by the Eagles to keep Emory Henry really out of that attacking half so far. No momentum offensively yet for the Wasps. Now played towards Nielsen. It's headed around. Emory Henry controls far side. Played up the near sideline, right to Pettit at midfield. As now it's Fields with a chance. Nielsen back to Fields. Fields is giving chase near sideline, but it'll trickle out of play. And an Emory Henry throw-in. So the Wasps 1-1 on the season and 3 ties. They've been able to manufacture those points, solid defensive efforts. A 0-0 tie against Belmont Abbey, then a 1-1 tie at Newberry. As Pettit now controls. It's booted down the field by De Silva, and it'll go out of play. So throwing for Carson-Newman near sideline in the Carson-Newman half of the field. Both goalkeepers looking for a solid performance tonight. Adriana Rugg, starting her 4th, has allowed 3 goals on the season. 1 goal per game, 13 saves for her. And for Carson-Newman, it's Danielle Lacey back there, looking to keep the Wasps out of the net. Near side battle between Pettit and Kirsch. As Pettit wins that battle, she'll have a throw-in. Nielsen chasing near side, and it'll go out of play off of Emory and Henry. So a throw-in for Kristen Nielsen. 1 shot on the night coming from Addie Henry. She had a nice game last year against Emory and Henry. 1 goal, but did have 5 shots on goal, so opportunity for much more from her on that night. As now Fields playing it towards John, and it's cleared by Emory and Henry back towards Abby Zander. Zander far side will get it back. Pal's daughter now at the Carson-Newman logo at midfield. Savannah Fields has it. Plays it towards Carly Pettit. Now played towards the box. A collision there outside the box. No whistle as now it's Felisa Frick playing it down the far side, and it will trickle out of play. As Carson-Newman look to stay on sides there. Goal kick upcoming for Adriana Ragg and the Wasps. Looking at Danielle Lacey back there for Carson-Newman. Her 4th start as well. Has allowed 9 goals so far in the season. Has 7 saves. Allowing 3 goals a game. 1 win, 1 loss, and 1 tie for Lacey so far this year. As Ragg will line up the goal kick for the Wasps. 34-17 in a rolling clock here in the first half. No score between Carson-Newman and Emory and Henry. As Carson-Newman looking to gain possession back down near the box. It's controlled by the Wasps. Played near side, Pettit giving chase, but it'll trickle out right near the midline for a throw-in for the Eagles. Here in a little bit, we'll take a look around the South Atlantic Conference. Pretty stacked night in the conference tonight. As a whistle near midfield, there's going to be a foul on Carson-Newman. It'll go back to Emory and Henry. Tusculum able to get a win tonight over Mars Hill 2-0. As the Pioneers get it done tonight. Big boot at midfield by Emory and Henry. As it's now taken back by Carson-Newman. Fields far side, playing it towards Henry. Henry beats a defender there, and it'll trickle out of play. It'll be a Carson-Newman throw-in for Addie Henry. So the Eagles are moving down into the attacking part of the field as Nielsen has it far side. Looking for a play into the box here. Nielsen controls. Back outside, now into the box. Couple Eagles there. A header goes wide and out of play. Waiting to see if it's going to be a corner or a goal kick. It will be a goal kick for Emory and Henry. The Eagles and the Wasps all tied up at nothing here. Just under 33 minutes to play here in the first half. Lenore Ryan, who leads the standings in the SAC with a 4-0 shutout over Anderson tonight. As the Wasps booted across midfield, it's Xander going after it, but it'll trickle back to Danielle Lacey. Again, Tusculum gets it done against Mars Hill. A couple other matchups in the conference tonight, Lincoln Memorial and North Greenville facing off. As it's taken away by Emory and Henry off of the foot of an Eagle. Now down the near sideline, it's Pal's daughter back to Fields. Fields putting a move on a defender. She gets some space. Nielsen running with her, but it's taken away right just again by the Wasps. A little contact at midfield. As there's a whistle, I believe. So foul on Carly Pettit right near midfield. It'll be Olivia De Silva to take the free kick. Not much offensive momentum for either side. I'd say Carson-Newman has had a little bit more than Emory and Henry has. There's now a big boot by De Silva into the box. Off a couple of heads, now into the box for Emory and Henry. Shot goes wide and scooped up by Lacey. So Emory and Henry with a solid chance there. Their first real opportunity of the night to get on the board. As Lacey plays it near side. Now at half for Henry. Turnover for the Eagles, taken back by Emory and Henry. Now played down the near side, Pettit giving chase. As the Wasps can't keep it in play, it'll be a goal kick for Danielle Lacey and Carson-Newman. So a couple good chances early on for Carson-Newman. One solid chance for Emory and Henry. 3 shots total, 2 for the Eagles. 1 for Emory and Henry. No shots on goal quite yet. Xander will boot it back towards Lacey. Lacey plays it near side. It's Pettit towards Henry. Henry now to Fields, deflects off of Coders. As now Emory and Henry looking to make a run. Contact right there near the sack logo and a foul called on Iris Palsdottir. So another free kick for Emory and Henry. The last time they had one, it was a good chance in the box. It'll be Lucy Dunlop to take it now. Some Wasps and some Eagles congregating near the top of the box. It's booted in. And easy play for Danielle Lacey as she leaps to make the grab. Lacey will play it out for Carson-Newman. Big boot towards midfield. It's Bankston with the head. A lot of contact there, no whistle. Far side, it's Judd. Played down the sideline. Nielsen trying to take it away. She cannot. Back towards Frick at midfield. Over the head of her, Xander will control in the back half for Carson-Newman. Big boot by Xander. Couple Eagles giving chase. Emory and Henry able to clear it for a moment. Fields defending Coders near the top of the box. A lot of defensive pressure from Carson-Newman early. As this one down the near sideline, Palsdottir defending. Played back towards Abby Xander. She'll give it back to Lacey. Both teams trying to create some runs early, but not much going on for either side. Emory and Henry looks much improved from a year before. As now it's played in the box. Nielsen with a chance, but Ragg comes up to make the save. That one just touched a little too hard for Krista Nielsen and gave Ragg the chance to make the play. Another good opportunity for Carson-Newman. Again, the Wasps 3-11-2 last year, 0-9-2 in the sack so far this year. They have a third of their wins already with 1 on the year. 1 loss and 3 ties. This one played down the far side. It's Harris, now taken away by Xander. Good defense by Abby Xander so far. She's kind of been the quarterback of that back line for Carson-Newman. Pettit plays it towards Fields. Good defense by Emory and Henry, but the Eagles will keep it. A throw in for Pettit. Nielsen touches it towards Bankston. Now at half, it's Addie Henry. Nice move on a defender right there. Henry gets some space, but good defense by Olivia Haynes at midfield. And now it's Adrian Harris down the near side. Now towards Danielle Lacey. She keeps it in play to avoid a corner for Emory Henry. Lacey the top of the box for Xander. 26:45 in the rolling clock in the first half. No score between Emory Henry and Carson-Newman. As Judd towards Palzadner. Touched by Nielsen, a little too soft. It's taken away by Emory Henry at midfield. It's Coders with the takeaway. Now down the far side, Xander, good defense by Abby Xander. She takes it away from Maddie Simmons. As it trickles out of play, it'll be a throw-in, I believe, for Emory Henry. Xander limping a little bit. Lots of contact there between Simmons and Xander. As Emory Conklin will have the throw-in. Down near the far side corner. Emory and Henry pretty deep into the attacking part of the field, the deepest they've been so far tonight. As a throw-in. Defending there by Xander. As she clears it for Carson-Newman. Good job to keep it in play. As it goes back towards midfield. Coders defended by Field. She gets some space. Coders far side. Emory Henry looking to play it into the box. Good defense, and it's kicked out of play. The first corner of the night upcoming. It's Emory Henry with the corner kick. It'll once again be Olivia Dunlop to take the corner. First chance for Emory Henry down here tonight. Dunlop had a good boot into the box. Almost resulted in a good chance for the Wasps. But not quite, as Lacey was able to scoop it up. Dunlop now into the box. Deflects off a couple bodies and cleared by Carson-Newman. Good defense on the first corner of the night as now Nielsen loses it. Xander giving chase far side. Abby Xander at midfield. She'll play it towards Binkson. The Wasps takes possession back. Coders crossing midfield. Now play it down the near sideline, and it will go out of play. So a throw in for the Eagles. Back and forth we go here in this first half. And the Wasps looking to avenge a 6-0 loss from last year, and it certainly looks like they're a much better team coming into this season. Only their second season at the Division II level. The second matchup ever between Carson-Newman and Emory Henry. Near side now, Fields near it, as well as Henry. Now Savannah Fields has some space. Fields shot well over the goal and the outstretched reach of Adriana Regg. So good chance there for Carson-Newman. Savannah Fields just aired it a little bit high. As that's the third shot of the night by Carson-Newman. 3 shots to 2. The Eagles have 3. Emory and Henry with 2 so far. 1 shot on goal. As Regg lines up the goal kick. Just about 23.5 to play here in the first half. It's been back and forth action. Good defense by both sides early. As Regg's boot goes right towards an Eagle. Played down the far sideline. Nielsen chasing hard, and it's kicked out of bounds by Emory and Henry. So a throw in for Carson-Newman. Good pressure there by Nielsen to force De Silva just to go out of bounds. As now the throw-in deflects off a couple heads. Down near the far corner of the box. Defense by Emory and Henry, and it goes off the foot of a Wasp. Carson-Newman will line up their first corner kick of the night. I believe that's Felicia Frick down there to take the corner far side. Frick with the corner kick. Judd with the run. Now far side into the box. Deflects off ahead, and it goes outside the box. Emory and Henry able to clear. Not a bad set from Carson-Newman right there. But better defense by the Wasps to get it back out of the box. Now Xander towards Fields. Fields at the top of the box. Looks back towards Nielsen, but it's a little far. As now Coders controls near side. Coders will run, now play it towards the box, giving chase is Adrian Harris, but Lacey able to scoop it up. Now Powell's daughter near side. Some solid chances for both sides early on, but really trying to figure each other out here in the first half of play. As Powell's daughter controls near side. Big boot by Powell's daughter down the near sideline, deflects off of Hannah Kirsch and out of play. Carly Pettit with a throw in for Carson-Newman. Looking at the standings in the SAC, it's Lenore Ryan with a 3-0 conference record. 4-0-3 overall are the Bears. Anderson with a 1-1-1 mark, 2-3-1 overall. Catawba 1-0 in conference play, 5-0 overall, as now it's played far down the far sideline. It'll be a free kick, I believe. It'll be a goal kick for Adriana Reg. Wingate 1-0 in conference, that one win coming against Carson-Newman. No losses yet for Wingate, 4-0-1 on the season. Mars Hill 1-1, 3-1 overall. Carson-Newman and Emory and Henry. Emory and Henry 0-1 in conference play. Carson-Newman 0-2 so far. So looking for their first conference win tonight as Bingson plays it towards Nielsen. Lots of contact. No whistle as Emory and Henry able to control near half. It'll be Coders defended by Fields. Now big boot down the near sideline. And will trickle out of play. Danielle Lacey will line up a goal kick. The Eagles men's team able to secure their first win in the SAC. As new substitute for Carson-Newman. Kristen Nielsen checks out. Cameron Giles checks in for Emory and Henry. A sub as well. It'll be Maddie Simmons checking out. Look like Haley Hamilton potentially, or Carolyn Valco checked in. Powell's daughter back near the box. As now she plays it near side. This one goes out of bounds off of Carson-Newman. Off the foot of Giles. Throw in near side for the Wasps. 19-16 in the rolling clock here in the first half. Still no score. Both defenses have been the strong point so far. As now Emory and Henry had a chance near the box. It's deflected off a couple heads. Now Powell's daughter able to clear it. It's Bingson defending Dunlop. Now on the backside, it's Fenn. Giles, lots of contact at midfield. That's going to be a foul on Cameron Giles as she ran into Dylan Copeland. A free kick upcoming for the Wasps. It'll be De Silva to take it. Giles getting an explanation from one of the referees here tonight. De Silva lines it up for Emory and Henry. Big boot near the top of the box. Off the head of Fenn. She's giving chase. And she'll keep it in play. But it trickles towards the sideline. It'll be Emory and Henry throwing. Physical battle tonight between the two teams. Lots of contact. Being told to play on. But that time Giles just got a little too much at midfield. Now it's Giles near side. Plays it towards Bingson. Now far side, tough ball there for Addie Henry. Excuse me, that's Abby Zander. Now Emory and Henry quickly pushing the tempo in the opposite direction. Far side, it's Harris. Taken away by Carson-Newman. Bingson controls. Far side, it's Zander. Big boot towards Giles. She tries to get it towards Fields, and she does. Savannah Fields at the top of the box, gives it towards Giles. Giles one-on-one with a defender. Lots of contact on Giles, but no call. As Giles looking to make a move here. Good move, maybe looking to cross it in the box. Cameron Giles holding on to it here, and now it's Frick. Frick near side for Henry. Henry into the box. Two Eagles there. Now it's Bingson with the chance, and Reg able to save it. And now another shot, and it's scored. What a shot. Waiting to see the number there, who that was, but a great shot off the deflection. It's Abby Zander who scores to get Carson-Newman on the board. Great job by Reg to keep it in play off the shot from Bingson. But it was Abby Zander who cleans it up and scores for Carson-Newman to give the Eagles a lead here in the 17th minute. Excuse me, here in the 29th minute. So Abby Zander scores to make it 1-0 Carson-Newman. Her second goal on the season. That was the first real chance for Carson-Newman. As now Emory Henry plays it down near side. 1-0 your score off the goal from Zander. In the 29th minute. Lots of contact at midfield by Coders, and it is called as Maya Bingson goes down. Now near side. It's Fend. She plays it down towards Giles. Giles near the end line. She keeps it in play. Deflected around. Couldn't see who that went off of. I believe it'll be a corner for Carson-Newman here near side. So the Eagles get on the board, and now the offense with a little bit of juice. Here as we enter the last third of this first half. As Frick will take the corner. Excuse me, that's Judd, or Henry. As now it's Frick back towards Henry. Henry with a cross into the box. Couple Eagles there. It's off the head and out of play. Over the top of the goal. I believe that might have been Palsdonner in the box. As now Carson-Newman looking to hold on to that 1-0 lead. So far the defense for the Eagles has been really solid. And the offense able to capitalize. Their fifth shot of the night. First shot on goal, and it was scored by Abby Zander there in the 29th minute. As now it's headed near midfield, back to Frick. Bingson towards Judd. Judd now near the box for Henry. Henry with a chance to make a move on a defender, but I believe she was offsides. So offsides on Abby Henry. Great save by Reg at first, but she wasn't able to scoop it up, and it allowed Zander to come in and score off the deflection. As now it's Fields with the header near midfield. Big boot by Copeland down the near sideline. We'll go towards the near corner and out of bounds. So deep throw in for Carson-Newman in the defending half. It looked like Fend was trying to move up a little bit there, but she's told to move a couple of steps back for the throw-in. Big throw-in for Fend. It deflects off the Wasp head. And now it's Frick playing it back towards far side. It's Zander. Now back to Abby Zander at midfield. Fields at half. It's Fend with a run down the near sideline. Good defense by the Wasps to negate that run, as now Fend will play it back towards Henry. Fend outside the box near side. Plays it back towards Henry. Good defense by Emory Henry here. But it's Henry that will cross it into the box. An attempt there by Giles, but she couldn't quite get to it. As now it's kicked around, and Emory and Henry able to clear it off the foot of Dylan Copeland. Palsdonner down the nearest sideline. Fields now outside the box. Savannah Fields will play it into the box. And a shot, and it goes over the goal. Cameron Giles able to get a foot on it, but a little too strong as it goes over the head of Adriana Reg and out of play. Couple new subs in for the Wasps. It's number 18, Caitlin Smith, in for Olivia Dunlop. And number 24, Charlotte Stavis. So Stavis into the game, as well as Smith. As Reg will line up the goal kick. Under 13 minutes to play here in the first half. 1-0 your score. Carson-Newman out in front. Far side kicked around by Emory and Henry. Smith able to get it out for a second. But now it's Frick playing it down the far sideline. Judd now has it. Deflects off of Emory and Henry and out of play. So a throw in for Carson-Newman as a new substitute in for the Eagles. Number 22, Molly Buckowitz, into the game for Addie Henry. So Henry checks out, Buckowitz in. Carson-Newman throw in towards Maya Bingson. Bingson near the top of the box, it's Fields. Some contact from Coders, but Fields maintains it. Fields now at the top of the box, far side, plays it in towards Judd, but it's kicked out by Emory and Henry. Good job by the Wasps near the top of the box. Now it's Kendall Garber who recently checked in, playing it down towards Buckowitz as it's scooped up by Reg. Looks like a host of subs getting warmed up for Carson-Newman. As Reg will get ready to boot it away. 11:15 rolling clock in the first half. 1-0 Carson-Newman with the lead. As Fields takes it away near half, it's booted towards Giles. Gets over the head of a Wasp. Now Giles able to apply some pressure. It's kicked down to play by Emory Conklin. A throw in for Carson-Newman. Some subs into the game. First for the Eagles. It's Alba Delgado checking in, as well as Malia Kim. And also Molly Zander checking in. Frick has it far side. Played towards Zander at the top. Now a boot into the box. Reg able to punch it over the top of the goal. What a save by Adriana Reg. A shot from outside the box by Carson-Newman. I believe that was number 17, Alba Delgado, and Reg able to punch it out over the top of the goal to avoid an insurance goal for Carson-Newman here in the first half. 10 minutes on the dot to play in the first half. As it'll be a near side corner for Frick. She boots it in. Off the head of a Wasp. Now it's Buckowicz and booted out of play by Emory and Henry once again. We'll switch sides on the corner. Frick will trot over across the field and take it once again. Top of the box stacked with Wasps and the Eagles. As Frick prepares to take the kick, far side. This one played in. Near side header, scored! Off the corner kick from Felicia Frick. It was a header, I believe, by Alba Delgado. She runs over towards the sideline, gets a celebration from her teammates as Carson-Newman takes a 2-0 lead. Beautiful feed into the box by Felicia Frick. And then Delgado did the rest, heading it past the outstretched reach of Adriana Reg, and Carson-Newman in control with 9:10 to go in the first half of play. 2-0 your score. Off the header from Delgado. 36-minute goal for Carson-Newman to put on top of Abby Zander's 29th minute score. So the score is about 10 minutes apart for Carson-Newman. Good for a 2-goal lead here in this one. Controlled near half for Emory and Henry. Flex off a couple Eagles. Now it's Garber getting out of the box. Coder's up top, Garber defending. Lots of contact by Garber and a whistle. It'll be a free kick for Emory Henry. Carson-Newman bench applauding the physicality shown by Kendall Garber right there. Get Coders off of the ball a little bit. Free kick up coming from De Silva right near the SAC logo near side. 2-0 your score as De Silva boots it near the top of the box. Chance here for Emory Henry. It's kicked around and it trickles into the back of the net. Emory Henry scores. I believe that was number 24, Charlotte Stavis, who found her foot and put it on. It just trickled in the back of the net. A bit of a weird play there, but Emory Henry able to score to make it 2-1. Good response from Emory Henry, as now they're keeping this one within reach. It's Irish Miles who will check in. Great ball in by De Silva, and it just got deflected around. Stavis was the one who got it into the back of the net. Carson-Newman now near half. It's Frick far side for Xander. 2-1 your score after the goal from Emory Henry and Charlotte Stavis. Throwing now for Carson-Newman far side. Starting to get near the end of this first half, 7:30 to play. Now into the box. It's Giles. Now to Molly Xander. It's kicked around. Emory Henry able to clear it. As now Abby Xander gives chase. She'll play it in the box towards the backside for Miles, and it gets over her head. Still has it near the near sideline. Good defense by Emory Henry to get it out of there. It's Kalia Scales who makes the play. Carson-Newman still controls. It's Buckowicz. Lots of Eagles near the ball right now. It's Kristen Nielsen who recently checked back in. Pal's daughter near side. We'll play it over towards Garber. Ever since this game got off to a kind of a slow start, both teams have ramped up the intensity. As it's near side Miles, she makes a good move on her defender. Played back up top towards Molly Xander. Now it's Miles. Near side right outside the box. She plays it in. It deflects towards Buckowicz, but she's not able to get a foot on it. But Carson-Newman keeping the offensive pressure in the attacking part of the field. Molly Xander controls. Buckowicz far side outside the box. Now this one gets away a little bit. Carson-Newman will reset as it's played back to Garber. 2-1 your score. Carson-Newman with a solid chance right there. But Buckowicz well accounted for. She was not able to find the ball. As Pal's daughter controls right on top of the Carson-Newman logo. It's Malia Kim who plays it back towards Frick. Frick towards Giles, now back towards Pal's daughter. Pal's daughter looking for someone here. She plays it down towards Irish Miles. Good tackle there by Kalia Scales to take it back for Emory Henry. Now Giles controls. Giles into the top of the box. Headed out by Emory Henry. Kim now. Now it's taken away. Right towards Frick. Carson-Newman really keeping the pressure on this attacking part of the field. But now Emory Henry able to get it out. A whistle. And a foul on Carson-Newman. It's a bit of a frenzy by the Eagles to try and get a goal right there. And they had a couple good chances at it. Good pressure by the offense. So now it'll be De Silva to take the free kick. Under 5 minutes to play in the first half of play. Emory Henry trailed 2-0 and then got a goal off the foot of Charlotte Stavis to make it 2-1. Abby Xander with a goal in the 29th minute. And then Alba Delgado in the 36th minute gets a goal. There's lots of contact near midfield. Cameron Giles absorbed it, and it's a free kick for Carson-Newman.
Dylan, check your shoulders, Dylan.
So Xander got the scoring started off deflection, and the beautiful header in the 36th minute off the nice corner kick by Frick to make it 2-0. But just over a minute later, Emory Henry able to strike back. Charlotte Stavis found a loose ball as this one's into the box. Carson-Newman giving chase. Good defense by Copeland. She gets it out of there. That's now as Caroline Coders deflects off the foot of Frick. Miles controls near midfield for Carson-Newman. Irish Miles just recently checking in the game. She plays it down the near sideline for Buckowicz. Ollie Buckowicz back to Miles. Good defense again by Caroline Coders. She's had an impact here in this first half. Now Copeland able to boot it out towards Kalia Scales. She keeps it in play. Kicked around. Now it's Copeland. Good takeaway by Frick near midfield. Played down the near sideline. It's Buckowicz. Buckowicz outside the box, making a move on her defender. Now she'll play it into the box. Giles with a chance at it. It trickles around. Now back outside the box. Buckowicz plays it in, and it's taken away by Emory Henry. A lot of pressure there in the offensive part of the field for the Eagles. Great hustle by Abby Xander. She keeps it in play. Now there's a whistle. It looked like Dylan Copeland went down near midfield. A lot of dispute from the Carson-Newman bench and Simon Duffy, as Carson-Newman had a chance right there. Xander was able to keep it in play with some nice hustle. The stoppage was called late to check on Dylan Copeland, who was seated at midfield. So Simon Duffy showing frustration. New sub in as Copeland able to limp off the field. It's Sophie Graham that checks in. Free kick coming for Carson-Newman, but Emory Henry able to reset there due to the stoppage. It's now to be Anina Arnaudotter checking in for Carson-Newman. Not necessarily the dispute of stopping for an injured player, but more or less the time that it came at with Carson-Newman. A lot of pressure in the offensive part of the field, and Emory Henry kind of scrambling to stop that attack. And then it was shut down to check on Dylan Copeland. It's now a free kick far side for Carson-Newman. This one played into the box, and it's snared by Rag near the goal. So the pressure from Carson-Newman does not come to pass, as Reg able to keep it out of the goal. 2.5 minutes to play, 2-1. Carson-Newman out in front of Emory Henry. This one booted towards midfield. It's Scales and Miles. Looked like it went off the hand of Scales, and it did. So Carson-Newman retains possession. And now over top of the ball is Nicole Jimenez. She kind of tried to take it away. Maybe wasn't aware of the whistle. As Frick plays it far side, Molly Xander outside. She was Abby Xander. Now Buckowicz. Far side on the right side of the box. She looks to play it in. Good tackle by Scales. That's Olivia De Silva down there. So corner kick up coming for Carson-Newman. Had success just a little while ago. Frick able to get it towards the back post, and it was Delgado with the header to put Carson-Newman at the time up 2-0. And now with a minute and a half remaining in the first half, Frick has another chance to get her second assist on the night. As Frick lines it up, Carson-Newman in the same formation they were on the goal-scoring play. This one booted towards the back post once again. Trickles around, and it's booted out of play off of the leg of Carson-Newman. So that time, Frick pretty much placed her right where she did the first time, but Emory Henry a little bit more prepared, as Reg will have a chance for a goal kick here. 1 minute to play in the first half. We'll see if Emory Henry can make a late push for the equalizer here in the first half. As it's booted near half. Back in the back half for Kendall Garber. Now she'll play it to Danielle Lacey. Carson-Newman looks content to keep this a 2-1 game. Maybe we'll try to set up one last attack. As now it's Kim at midfield. Plays it towards Delgado. Second goal scorer of the night for Carson-Newman. Fowles daughter now, far side. It's Abby Zander, Molly Zander, as she'll play it down the far sideline. Buckowicz finds herself alone outside the box, but it's deflected by Emory Henry. Out of play, 10 seconds to go. Carson-Newman trying to get it in quickly. They do, far side. Played into the box, but scooped up by Reg as time expires in the first half. We head into halftime. 2-1 Carson-Newman leads. Abby Zander got the scoring started off the shot from Maya Bingson, and then the corner kick from Felicia Frick. Alba Delgado heads it in. Emory Henry gets within one in the 37th minute with a goal by Charlotte Stavis, and that's where we sit going into the break. We'll be back in about 15 minutes here on the Eagle Sports Network. Back at McCown Field on the campus of Carson-Newman University for half number 2 between the Eagles and the Wasps. Newman out in front after a 29th minute goal by Abby Zander to make it 1-0. And then Alba Delgado with the header late in the first half to make it 2-0. An instant strike back by the Emory Henry Wasp with the Charlotte Stavis goal in the 37th minute to make it 2-1. As Carson have it at midfield, getting ready to go. First half stats: 9 shots for Carson-Newman to 3 for Emory and Henry. 6 fouls by the Eagles, 4 by the Wasps. 5 corners. Carson-Newman capitalized on 1 of them, and 1 for Emory and Henry. Danielle Lacey, 1 goal allowed for Carson-Newman, 1 save. And Reg with 2 goals allowed, 1 save for her. So ready to go here in the second half. It's Addie Henry who gets it going for Carson-Newman. Frick now boot towards Fend, and now it's Bankson with a run. Booted out by Emory and Henry. Controlled near side by Simmons. Good defense by the Eagles. Dribbles around at midfield. Fields defending. Adrian Harris now giving chase is number 15, Carolyn Valco. And it's booted back outside the box. An injury in the box for Carson-Newman. And we're going to have a stoppage. Can't see exactly who that is, but they went down hard in the box. It looks like she looks to work her way back to her feet. Lots of contact on that. Valco had a good run. Was almost able to get in the back of the net. So I think that was Addie Henry that went down. She seems to be all right. No substitute coming in for Henry. She'll stay in the game. Emory and Henry will have it. Excuse me, it'll be Carson-Newman with it. A throw in the far side. It's Fenn that'll play it in for Carson-Newman. So waiting for the resuming of play. While we wait, let's look at the South Atlantic Conference tonight. Mentioned Tusculum got the win over Mars Hill 2-0. Let's check on Lincoln Memorial and North Greenville and what happened there tonight. It was North Greenville with a 3-0 win over the 4-2-1 Lincoln Memorial Rail Splitters as North Georgia able to get the win. As now Emory and Henry gets it back. Haynes has it. Now far side. It's Simmons. Simmons into the box. Lacey. Ball still loose, and it's cleared by Carson-Newman. Dangerous play there as it got away from Danielle Lacey. But Carson-Newman able to get it out. Emory and Henry still controls. Now it's booted out of play. It'll be a throw-in for the Wasps. Dangerous play there, almost the equalizer for Emory and Henry. Looking at Catawba and Wingate. 2-0 Catawba in the lead as they're getting ready to resume half number 2. Good play near the box for Emory and Henry, but Zander getting it out and cleared by Carson-Newman. Good job overall tonight by the Carson-Newman defense. Just 3 shots for Emory and Henry, getting their 4th here in the second half. It was a bit of a fluky goal there in the first half. The ball was trickling loose, and Stavis, good play by her to put it in the back of the net and make it a 2-1 game. Near side, Emory Conklin will have the throw-in.
And again.
Ferg heads it out. A little battle on the near sideline. Conklin now is at the top of the box. Olivia Haynes controls. Haynes to Dunlop, and now a trip at the top of the box. Big opportunity for Emory and Henry here, as they'll have it right at the top of the arc. Wall being built by Carson-Newman. Selena Judd standing right in front. Dunlop ready to tee it off. Wall for Carson-Newman. As Lacey looking to come up big here. Big opportunity for Emory and Henry in a 2-1 game.
Come on, AB.
As Dunlop lines it up.
Get the ball.
Dunlop sends it in. Good job by the Carson-Newman defense building that wall. It's not penetrated as Abby Zander giving chase. Big battle here between her and Caroline Coders. Coders wins this one. Coders has it. Now Zander falls as Coder maintains possession. Zander looking for a push off there as now Fields takes it back. Running is Anita Arnadotter. Now it's played to Maya Bingson. Bingson towards the top of the box. It's played back towards Reg. Reg able to get it out. Good defense by Carson-Newman as it was played towards Henry. Henry couldn't get a foot on it. And now Reg will scoop it up. Some intensity here in the second half. Lots of contact with 41:09 and a rolling clock.
Come on, AB. Come on, AB. Let's go.
2-1 your score. Carson-Newman still with the lead.
Up and in.
Best chance of the early second half action for Emory and Henry came on that kick at the top of the zone for
Ball.
Olivia Dunlop. The Carson-Newman defense staying strong tonight. It'll be a throw-in. Fend has a far side. Headed right back towards Fend. She'll do it again. Carson-Newman looking for its first win in the South Atlantic Conference in this 2023 season. The men were able to get it done against Emory and Henry, a 3-0 win earlier this evening. Xander plays it back towards Garber. Garber now towards Palsdottir. She'll have to chase after it a little bit. Carson-Newman looking to set something up. Fields now towards Henry. Henry plays it far side. Played back towards the back post. It goes wide. It will roll down. The Wasp able to get it out of play. So Carson-Newman will have a throw-in as it's played in. It's Arnadotter. Now Bingson. Lots of contact on Maya Bingson. No whistle. As it's played near the top of the box. Deflected. Lots of contact inside the box. Simon Duffy looking for a call. That would have been big for Carson-Newman, but Adriana Rang able to gather it. Now Maya Bingson will go down. Stoppage for Bingson as she's a little shaken up. So a chance for Carson-Newman inside the box. Looked like Bingson got taken down. No call. And she'll limp over towards the sideline, waiting to see if they'll get a sub in for Maya Bingson. So it'll be Alba Delgado who scored the second goal of the game on the header. She'll check in for Maya Bingson. It's Bingson walking off on her own power towards the sideline. 39-23 stop clock for the injury in the second half of action. Emory and Henry looking to improve on what has been a solid 5-game start. Last year was not friendly to them, 3-11-2 on the year. This year 1-1-3. They've been able to manufacture points, 3 points via the tie, 3 via the win. So 6 points so far for Emory and Henry. As Arnadotter gives chase, and it's booted out by Emory and Henry. Good job by Arnadotter to apply the pressure. As Carson-Newman will have a throw in far side. It's Addie Henry. Now it's taken right back by Emory and Henry. Played back towards the midfield stripe for Carson-Newman as they get it back. It's Kendall Garber looking for something. She'll play it down the near sideline. A battle developing on that near sideline as it's Emory and Henry that comes out of the pack, and a shove on Emory and Henry. Abby Zander gets up. No card flash, but Carson-Newman will have a free kick. Pretty obvious shove there on Abby Zander. She's able to get to her feet. Alicia Frick plays it back towards the midfield stripe for Palsdottir. Irish Palsdottir now towards Addie Henry, but it sneaks away and trickles back towards Reg, who will line up a goal kick. Under 38 minutes to play in this one. Carson-Newman holds a 1-goal advantage over Emory Henry. Just a second all-time meeting between the two. Carson-Newman able to get last year's matchup 6-0. Early dominant showing. Emory Henry looks much improved this year. This has certainly been a competitive night out here between these two teams. As again, more contact. This time the whistle is blown. Selena Judd goes down, and Carson-Newman will have it. Addie Henry plays it far side. Now into the box. Arnaudotter giving chase. Reg able to scoop it up. So a chance there for Carson-Newman. Arnaudotter attempted to put a head on that one. Couldn't quite get there. Lots of pressure by Carson-Newman all night long on this Emory and Henry team. As it's headed towards midfield. Good job by Palsdonner. She moves up with some pace. It's Delgado. Now near side Judd. Far side Palsdonner with a run. Nice ball by Judd. Palsdonner outside the box. Far side. Plays it towards Henry. Good defense by Emory and Henry once again. It's Garber who charges on to keep the possession with the Eagles. Delgado plays it towards Judd. Judd looking for something in the box. Nice move on her defender. Now she's inside the box. Good tackle by Emory and Henry. But it's Palazzotti who comes up and keeps it with the Eagles. A whiff on a kick, and now Fields will try from outside the box. Diving attempt by Reg. I don't know if she got a piece of it or not, but it was just wide towards the right side of the net. Good shot by Fields at the top of the box. Couldn't find the back of the net. First shot of the second half for Carson-Newman. Reg having a pretty solid night. Carson-Newman has scored 2 goals, but not much Reg can do on that header by Delgado, and Xander with an absolute rocket off the foot for the first goal. So overall, it's been a good night. As now a ball played down towards Lacey, and she just boots it out. Now it's Coders near the midfield stripe. Fields defending. Good pressure applied by Fields as it's now taken away by Frick. Arnaudotter near half. Now turnover. As it's Harris now towards Coders. This one played far side for Valco. As Valco has it taken away. Xander has it at midfield. She's making a run. Lots of contact by Conklin, and whistle is blown. That'll be a foul on Conklin. Abby Xander's been aggressive tonight, and Emory and Henry has put a lot of contact on Abby Xander as she'll line up the free kick. Couple Eagles lining up at the top of the box. It's Arnaudotter, and now Frick will go down there. Potential chance here for Carson-Newman to tally an important insurance goal. 2-1 your score. Good job by Emory and Henry in that first half to not let it get away from them with that goal late in the first half. Carson-Newman had another good shot at it as time expired, but couldn't quite get it in. And Xander will boot it towards the top of the box. Now a whistle. I believe an offsides called on Carson-Newman. Not sure what the call is exactly. It looks like Addie Henry has had some words with the referee. Now they'll give it back to Carson-Newman. Abby Xander will be able to line it up again. So maybe an inadvertent whistle right there. As now Carson-Newman will have it once again. Xander will do it all over. Now another whistle. Xander being told to back the ball up. She'll boot it towards the top of the box. Kicked around a couple times. Carson-Newman asking for a handball. They will not get it. Now coming the opposite direction is Dunlop. She plays it over towards Harris. Harris far side looking for a play into the box. Nobody really down there for Emory and Henry, and it's just kicked out of bounds by Carson-Newman. Emory and Henry retains possession. Looked like there's certainly a case for a handball there at the top of the box. No call down on the other side, as now Emory and Henry retains possession. Haynes playing it down towards the back line. She'll boot it in. Now a shot, and it soars over the top of the goal. Valco had a good look at it, a little too strong. As now Lacey will line up a goal kick. That shall be Garber to take this one. Best opportunity to have really for Emory and Henry to get that tying goal. Could not do so. Carson-Newman controls along the back end. 32 minutes and 48 seconds to play left in this one. As Coders now pushing hard, and a shot off the top of the crossbar. Good shot by Coders, but could not find the back of the net. That one just a little too high off the foot of Caroline Coders. Off of the crossbar. Two good shots from Emory and Henry in the last minute. As Coders just inches away from tying that one up. Carson-Newman controls near side. Arnaudotter heads it over towards Henry. Now Dunlop takes it back, but it's Judd applying pressure. Now far side Fields. A run for Henry. She's chasing after the ball on the far sideline. Able to keep it in play is Addie Henry. Good hustle. As now she puts a move on her defender. Addie Henry crossing in the box. Now a shot for Carson-Newman. It's Fields scooped up by Reg. Fields had a good look at it. Didn't get as much of a piece of it as she would have liked. As Reg able to save that one. Both good looks on both sides of the ball so far in this second half. Carson-Newman holding on to that 2-1 lead, but Emory and Henry certainly not out of it. As now Carson-Newman takes it back. Good defense by Emory and Henry. It's Dunlop that plays it down the far sideline. Palisade all alone on the back line. As she keeps it. Now over towards Garber. Garber with the big boot down the sideline. Arnaudotter using her body, but it goes out of play. Just a little bit behind Zander, who's trying to make a run. So Emory and Henry with the throw right in front of the booth here. Judd keeps it in play for Carson-Newman. Boots it down the near sideline. Arnaudotter hustling. It'll be Dunlop that keeps the possession. Now it's Reg back near the goal. Dangerous play with Addie Henry coming on hard. But Reg able to get it out of there. Now Carson-Newman still applying the pressure. Delgado takes it back. A whistle and a foul on Emory and Henry. So Carson-Newman with a free kick. Now Garber towards Zander on the near side. Zander near the top of the box. Headed around, and Judd can't get a piece of it. Emory and Henry able to clear. Now all the way back across midfield. Coders giving chase hard, and a whistle. A free kick for Emory and Henry. Not sure what the whistle was for there. Nonetheless, Emory and Henry will have the free kick right near the midline. It's Olivia De Silva to take the free kick. She'll be asked to move a couple steps back. So De Silva sets up a couple yards into her own half of the field. De Silva boots it down towards the top of the box. Headed out by Palisdottir, but Emory and Henry able to keep it in. Now Fields over towards Dunlop. Valco far side. That goes just out of play. So Carson-Newman will have a throw in on the far sideline. A couple subs coming in for Carson-Newman. It's Nielsen and Bukowicz checking in. And for Emory and Henry, it's Hannah Kirsch coming back in for Maddie Simmons. Arnaudotter will check out as well as Henry. So Nielsen and Bukowicz in for Henry and Arnaudotter. And Kirsch comes in for Simmons. Back and forth action here in half number 2. Started off a lot quicker than the first half did. Both teams trying to figure each other out there early in the first half, but the goals came quick in that last little bit of play. As now Garber controls near half. It's Selena Judd playing it back towards Palazzo. Garber now. Cleared by Emory Henry for a moment, but Carson-Newman gets it back. It's Delgado who plays it towards Fend on that far side. Emory Henry able to get possession back. It's cleared down near the far sideline. It'll be a throw-in for Carson-Newman and Felicia Frick. Much different story from the last time around. Carson-Newman in heavy control of that matchup, a 6-0 win tonight. The Eagles have had to claw to stay in front tonight. Has now played down towards Reg. She slips for a second off the foot of Garber, but she's able to grab it. There's almost danger there for Emory and Henry. As Garber booted it in, Reg lost her footing. Was able to quickly get to her feet and keep that one out of the net. Under 30 minutes to play in this one, 27-15 in a rolling clock. Both teams have had their chances in the second half. Carson-Newman with chances to add some insurance to this lead as Delgado, lots of contact on, I believe that was Dunlop, and now a yellow card flash to Alba Delgado. So Dunlop went down right outside the midfield circle, and the yellow card immediately flashed to Alba Delgado. Free kick coming for Emory Henry. Silva lines it up. Big boot down towards Coders. Now another whistle. They'll reset once again. Didn't have the indication to resume play. So it did look like the referee was writing something down. Taking note of that Delgado yellow card. Wasn't quite ready for play to resume. Now they're ready to go. Silva once again boots it down towards the top of the box. Deflects off a couple Eagles. And it's Zander that's able to get it out of the box. Zander, big boot down the near sideline. Good job by Abby Zander reversing the field a little bit. Nielsen giving chase. Emory and Henry able to keep possession. It'll be Carson-Newman throwing here near side after the turnover by Emory and Henry, but the Eagles give it right back. That's Caroline Coders down the far side, taken away by Carson-Newman. Lots of physicality in the second half. Both teams have had chances for Carson-Newman to extend the lead and Emory and Henry to tie it up, but so far, a couple close misses. Most notably the one off the top of the crossbar by Coders. That one just got away. Would have been the equalizing goal. Carson-Newman again looking for its first SAC win. Emory and Henry looking to improve on what's been a solid 5-game start. 1-0 in the SAC to start the year. As now it's booted down the far sideline. Kept in play by Fend. And towards the top of the box, it's Buckowicz controls. Now Nielsen, nice move. She'll take a shot right towards Reg at the net. Another good save by Adriana Reg. Not a bad shot by Nielsen. Right into the chest of Reg. It's Judd that controls now to Delgado. Carson-Newman has it near half. It's Fenn playing it near side now to Garber. Emory and Henry is 0-0-1 in the SAC with the tie against Newberry. But still a solid start for the Wasps so far this year. As Coders now has it. Now right back to Zander. Abby Zander having a very solid night defensively for the Eagles. As there's a lot of contact on Kristen Nielsen by De Silva. There's a lot of contact has been let go tonight on both sides. Delgado controls on the far side, and it goes out of play. Throw in for Carson-Newman on the far sideline. Under 25 minutes to play, 24:30 and a rolling clock. Played towards the top of the box. Buckowicz had a chance, and now open net as Reg comes out to try and save that one, but it's kicked out of play. I believe it'll be a Carson-Newman throw-in on that far sideline. Throwing towards the right side of the box. Now cleared by Emory Henry. Headed around a couple times near midfield. Now Judd able to get it back towards the keeper. And a lot of contact on Selena Judd. Called on Caroline Coders as Judd now down near midfield. Big collision between Coders and Judd. It did look like Coders was the one that initiated it. It's a good sign for the Eagles. Selena Judd able to get up. A yellow card issued to Caroline Coders. Actually, 2 yellow cards. One to Adrian Harris and one to Caroline Coders. A little argument from the Emory and Henry side. So Coders given a yellow card, as well as Adrian Harris. Carson-Newman will have a free kick near midfield when play resumes. 23:40 to go here in the second half. 2 yellow cards issued on that play. Adrian Harris and Caroline Coders both given yellow cards on that. It'll be Iris Powell's daughter to take the free kick. She plays it near side for Garber. Carson-Newman controlling at midfield. 2-1 the score. Lots of back and forth action, but no scoring to show for it here in the second half quite yet. As now Buckowicz has it at the top of the box. It's kicked out of play by Emory Henry. So another throw in for Carson-Newman. Couple subs coming in for both sides. It's Molly Zander checking in, as well as Malia Kim. For Savannah Fields and Garber. Charlotte Davis, who had the only goal so far for Emory Henry, checks back in, as well as Caitlin Smith. Couple of subs for both sides as we're back underway. Far side, Carson-Newman has it. Played into the box towards Nielsen, but cleared out by Emory Henry. So Garber still in the game. It was Judd that checked out for Carson-Newman. Frick has it near midfield, back towards Garber. Taken away by Emory Henry, a turnover off the foot of Malia Kemp. Garber keeps it near half. Cleared out by Emory Henry, and it'll go out of bounds right in front of the Carson-Newman bench. It'll be a throw-in for Abby Zander. Play slowed down a little bit in the past few minutes. Both teams have had solid looks at the net here in the second half. No scoring so far. Scoring got started near the 30th minute there in the first half by Abby Zander. And a goal a couple minutes later by Alba Delgado. Good response by Emory Henry again. Big difference in the 2-1 game and the 2-0 game. And Charlotte Davis was able to make it 2-1 at the time, near the end of that first half. Found that ball right near the net and was able to put a foot on it and get in the back of the net. Carson-Newman will throw it in far side. Garber plays it back towards Lacey. Carson-Newman looking to set up an attack here. Kendall Garber plays it towards Molly Zander at the midfield stripe. Caroline Coders all night has applied pressure near midfield, did so again right there. And now it's played towards Buckowicz on the far sideline. Now Reg comes far out of the net to scoop it up and negate any Carson-Newman chance there. Adriana Reg has had a good night in the net. 2 excellent goals by Carson-Newman. The rebound shot by Abby Zander to kick off the scoring, and the header by Alba Delgado. I'd say more of Carson-Newman's good shots there than Adriana Reg in net. As other than those 2 goals, Reg has had a good night. Emory Henry will have it far side. As Giles will check back in for Carson-Newman. And Kalia Scales will come in for the Wasps. Bukowicz checks out as well as Valco for Emory Henry. Now another sub coming in the game. It's Nicole Jimenez. She'll check in for Adrian Harris. So both teams using their subs here in the second half. Under 20 minutes to play in this one. Emory Henry has a throw in the far side. Toss in across the midfield stripe, headed around a couple times. And Emory Henry keeps possession. Lots of hand fighting near midfield, and now a whistle. Foul called on Emory Henry after Alba Delgado goes down. Charlotte Stavis and Delgado tangled up there. It's Carson-Newman free kick near the midfield stripe. Frick near side for Garber. 19:23 to go here in the second half. Garber towards Kim, now right back to Garber. Far side, it's Palazzotter. Nice takeaway by Emory Henry. Now it goes all the way back towards Frick at the SAC logo on the far side. Frick plays it towards Kristen Nielsen. Now booted towards the top of the box. Giles got a foot on it. She'll put a shot on net. It goes off the crossbar, and I believe it's in. A goal for Carson-Newman. Got over the hand of Adriana Reg. Hit off the crossbar, but went right over the goal line and in. A dispute from the Emory and Henry side, but that will be a goal for Cameron Giles. Found herself open at the top of the box, put a shot on goal, and it was able to just get over the line and in to make it 3-1 Eagles. Waiting to see who was going to strike here in this second half. Was it going to be Emory and Henry to tie it up, or is Carson-Newman going to extend its lead? And the Eagles do just that. Cameron Giles with her second goal on the year to make it 3-1. Emory and Henry now plays it far side. Good move. As Emory and Henry will look to play it in the box, they do. Far post off the back of Hannah Kirsch, and Carson-Newman able to clear it. Almost deja vu the first half, as now Molly Zander has it across the midline. Zander puts a move on her defender. Now plays it towards Abby Zander on the near sideline. All the way down near the corner. And this one will trickle out of bounds. It'll be a goal kick for Emory and Henry. In the first half, it was Carson-Newman that took a two-goal lead, and Emory and Henry able to strike back quickly. Almost did so right there. The best chance of the second half for Emory and Henry. It was Hannah Kirsch trying to put a head on it, hit off her back, and Carson-Newman was able to get out of danger.
First ball, let's go, first ball.
As Carson-Newman out in front 3-1 after the goal by Cameron Giles. In the 71st minute of play.
Keep your shape, Blues, let's go.
This one deflected around the top of the box, and Emory and Henry able to get it out. Far side battle between Fend and Scales, and it's kicked off the foot of Fend and out of play. So a throw in for Emory and Henry far side. Checking back on the SAC scoreboard. Again, North Greenville took down Lincoln Memorial 3-0. Catawba and Wingate, it's 2-1 in the 73rd minute over in Wingate, North Carolina. It'll be Frick far side, playing it down the far sideline. And Emory and Henry able to boot it out of play. Throw in deep in the Wasp zone for Carson-Newman. As I mentioned earlier, Lenore Ryan able to take down Anderson 4-0. And Limestone and Newberry were in action tonight as well. It was Newberry who got the 2-1 win over Limestone. Deep in the Wasp half is Carson-Newman, and will get booted out of play. Another throw-in upcoming for the Eagles. Again, Carson-Newman looking for his first win in the month of September, as this one's headed out of the box by Emory Henry. It's Zander that tries to control at the top. Taken away by Coders, who's had a nice night defensively. Caroline Coders down the near sideline. Good defense by Molly Zander, applying heavy pressure to Caroline Coders right in front of the box here. There's now a foul called on Molly Zander. Looked like up to that point the contact was being ignored, and then a whistle blown on Molly Zander. I get Zander off the back of Caroline Coders. She looked relieved to have Molly Zander off her back there.
Get in the box, let's go, get in the box, Caitlin! Go, let's go!
As it will be a free kick here near side for Olivia Da Silva. Da Silva, big boot towards the top of the box. It's headed around, still loose. Coders giving chase, big tackle, a lot of contact. As an Eagle is down here. Whistle being called for stoppage. Coders drew a lot of contact on that tackle. Carson-Newman was looking for possibly a card there. Shaken up for the Eagles is Abby Zander down there on the turf. Abby Zander has had such a nice night defensively, and now she's holding her shoulder. Waiting to see if she'll check out of this one. So now Coders being shown a yellow card, and she'll get the red. And she'll have to check out of tonight's game. So Coders checks out after the 2 yellows. Had that one near midfield and gets another one here on the tackle on Abby Zander. So Abby Zander checks out. Coders checks out as well. So arguably the 2 best defenders for both sides now out of the game. This will be Olivia Haynes that checks in. Abby Zander, again, another really nice night out here for Carson-Newman. Had the first goal of the night on the rebound shot to make it 1-0 Eagles. And just all night long has been applying pressure to this Emory Henry attack. And that time, don't think Coders had any ill intent. Just got there kind of late and caught a lot of the body of Abby Zander. Hopefully Zander's all right, holding her shoulder, checking out of tonight's game. As Nicole Jimenez will actually check in. Now a yellow card shown to the Emory Henry bench. So yellow cards galore here in the second half. As Coders gets her second of half, number 2. Now one awarded to the Emory Henry bench. So a yellow card on Da Silva, yellow card on Harris, 2 on Coders. Carson-Newman has had 1 yellow card tonight too. Alba Delgado got flash 1 in the second half. 15:08 to go. Carson-Newman leads 3-1 after a long stoppage. We're back underway here at McCown Field. Played towards Kim. Now gets under the foot of a Wasp. Carson-Newman able to keep possession.
One more.
Near side, it's Molly Zander. This one's booted down towards the back line and out of play. Goal kick coming for Emory Henry. That'll be Haynes that checks in for Emory Henry. Subbing out is Hannah Kirsch. 14:26 to go. Carson-Newman under 15 minutes away from their first sack victory on the year. More importantly, really, to get back on the winning side of things in the month of September. Reg able to get it out of the box. Carson-Newman maintains possession far side. It's Delgado, lots of contact far sideline, and a foul called on Emory Henry. Emory and Henry have been the aggressors physicality-wise here in the second half. They've drawn, Carson-Newman able to draw a lot of fouls here in half number 2. Carson-Newman still with 3 matches to go in the month of September after tonight's concludes. Has a free kick into the box to flex around. And Cleared out of the box by Emory Henry. Carson-Newman still attacking here. Far side is Delgado. And shoots Frick, deflects off of her. Has another stoppage here. Will be called out on Felicia Frick. So looking at the rest of the month of September, on Saturday, Carson-Newman travels to Coker for a 4:30 match. And then at Mars Hill on the 27th, rounding out the month of September at Newberry. So on the road, tough slate to end the month of September, but a chance for the Eagles to get back on the winning side of things. And overall, be in a good spot in the South Atlantic Conference. Near side, now it's Garber. Booted far side towards Frick. He'll get past a Wasp and out of play. So Emory Henry retains possession. It's over 12 minutes to go here in the second half. Going into that second half, as I mentioned, it was really, couldn't tell if Emory Henry was going to tie it up or if Carson-Newman was going to extend its lead. Both had opportunities to do both, but Cameron Giles, who's far side, deflects off of her and out of play. She found herself open at the top of the box, got it off the crossbar and just over the line to score and make it 3-1. Emory Henry throwing now far side. It's booted down the far sideline by Carson-Newman and out of play. Kicked around far side. Frick able to get a hold of it, but it goes out of play. So Carson-Newman has had success at home here in the past couple of years. 39-10-5 under Simon Duffy here at McCown Field. Outscored opponents 132-51 at home since 2017. So Carson-Newman obviously having a lot of success here at McCown Field. And also on the road, Carson-Newman has had success as well, where they'll head for the last 3 games of September. Carson-Newman 26-12-4 on the road while compiling a 27-3 record versus SAC opponents since 2017. So Carson-Newman will have a test here in the last couple weeks of September, but it's a team that over the past couple years has had a lot of success on the road as Fields and Judd check back in. Delgado checks out. 10:46 in the rolling clock here in the second half. Emory Henry, they want to try and make a comeback in this one. They'll have to do it quickly. There's only one goal in this second half, but it's certainly been an entertaining one. As the sides have gone back and forth, Emory Henry looks much improved from a year before where they lost this Carson-Newman team 6-0. So we'll see how Emory Henry is able to do in the SAC this year, their second year in the South Atlantic Conference, after transitioning to Division II. So now it's played towards the box. Henry giving chase. Deflects off a couple watch. Now Nielsen has it at the top of the box. She slides, and it's scooped up by Reg. Again, a lot of contact in the box. No call. Adriana Reg able to scoop it up for Emory Henry. Potentially a chance there for Carson-Newman to put this one on ice, but not to be. Emory Henry still has life in this one. They've had a couple nice attacks in the second half. Coders, who has had to check out with a red card, had a really good shot earlier in this second half to try and tie up the game for Emory Henry at the time. Kind of went the opposite direction that Cameron Giles' shot went, as Coders went right off the crossbar and in front of the goal line. Giles was able to sneak it right over the goal line for Carson-Newman. As near side is Zander. Good to see Abby Zander all right after she was shaken up on that tackle by Caroline Coders. Garber has it near side. Now some aggression being shown by Emory Henry. Again, not much time left in this one. Emory Henry will have to apply the pressure in the last 9 minutes of action. Try and make a pretty impressive comeback in this one, down 2 goals. As it's played down the far sideline. Going after it, I believe that's Fields. But Emory and Henry able to clear it and out of play. Abby Zander has really had an impact on this game, both defensively and offensively, with the first goal of the game. She really plays a big role for this Carson-Newman team. It was good to see her get up from a hard fall on the tackle. She was holding her shoulder at the time, but she seems to be all right. Back in the game for the Eagles is now Zander in the box, gives chase. Far side near the corner, played back towards Fields. And now they're going to call Abby Zander offside. Going to go back the opposite direction for Emory and Henry. Free kick coming for De Silva. Deeper in her own half. Play down the near sideline. They'll go out to play. Carson-Newman will have a throw-in.
Come on!
Frick controls near half. She had a goal in the game against Emory and Henry a season ago. Addie Henry had 2. Has yet to get on the score sheet tonight. Selena Judd had 2. Addie Henry had 1. So 5 of the 6 goals came from returners last year for Carson-Newman. As it's into the box, Reg will give chase and scoop it up. So over 7 minutes to play in this one. Emory and Henry has yet to really make a push in the Carson-Newman half of the field. And I think that's a testament to this defense and what they've been able to do tonight. The only goal really was a ball that got loose near the goal, and it was able to be scooped up by Stavis and put in the back of the net. As now Valka will get past midfield, but Abby Zander, good positioning body-wise, and able to get the possession back for Carson-Newman. Now it's Henry, taken away by the Wasps. Dunlop has it near midfield. Emory and Henry looking to push. It's Scales. Deflects off an Eagle and out of play. So Emory and Henry finally into Carson-Newman's part of the field here in the second half. They've had a couple attempts in the Carson-Newman part of the field, but really this defense has been a factor tonight as a foul called right outside the box on Selena Judd, I believe. So a free kick for Emory and Henry right outside the box. Looking for that second goal to make it a 1-goal game. Limited time left to play. So Emory and Henry looking to make the most of a solid chance right outside the box. It'll be Olivia Haynes to line it up. Carson-Newman building that wall defensively. Haynes into the box, towards the net, but it's scooped up by Lacey. So no problem for Danielle Lacey as she gets it away towards Judd. Abby Zander now down the near sideline. Kristen Nielsen giving chase, but she'll let it roll out of play. It's going to be a goal kick for Adriana Reck. 2 subs in for Carson-Newman. That'll be Carly Pettit as well as Delgado checking back in with Irish Harris as well. Frick checks out, as well as Fend for Carson-Newman. 4:48 left to play. Goal kick coming for Emory and Henry. Control midfield by Henry, now a whistle. Another stoppage here. Been a lot of whistles in this second half, a lot of whistles overall here tonight. As Zander heads it towards midfield. Taken back by Valco, but right to the foot of Addie Henry. Powell's daughter now towards Zander. Carson-Newman content to kind of control possession through this last 4 minutes. Not get complacent, but just keep the ball and keep Emory and Henry from drawing up some attacks here in late in this one. Best chance for Emory and Henry arguably in the second half came just moments ago. That free kick right outside the box. Goes now towards the box for Giles, and Delgado scoops it up. She swoops and scores. Alba Delgado's second goal of the game. It got past Cameron Giles. Delgado able to put it in the back of the net and pretty much put this one away for Carson-Newman. Two goals for Alba Delgado tonight. She had the header in the first half and now scores in the second half. Big night for Alba Delgado in this Carson-Newman offense, who leads by 3, 4-1 with under 4 minutes to play. Another whistle this time on Emory Henry. Free kick upcoming for Carson-Newman. Zander controls in Carson-Newman territory. 3.5 to go in this one, 4-1. Pretty much the exclamation point on this one by Alba Delgado. 2 goals on the night for her. We'll call the assist on Cameron Giles, who got a piece of it. The ball was intended for her, but it got away and right towards Delgado. As now it's Judd near the top of the box. A lot of contact again, and a whistle on Emory Conklin. Addie Henry will line it up for Carson-Newman. So Emory Henry probably not coming back in this one, as Carson-Newman able to get 2 second-half goals to pull away. Really competitive game overall, though, as this one's poked into the box towards Reg, and she's able to grab it and keep it out of the back of the net. But Carson-Newman started off up 2-0. Quick response from Emory Henry, and what's been their only goal of the game by Stavis. But overall, Carson-Newman just proven to be too much. And big to get the first win in the month of September and try and turn things around here early in the season. Go on the road for the last 3 games of September. As Fields has it now. Towards the top of the box for Nielsen, and she's just taken out near the top of the box. No whistle. Kristen Nielsen is down as it's played back towards Lacey. Zander now has it. Henry near midfield. Look at the rest of the Eagles' schedule. They return home to start October. Big game on October 7th against Lenore Ryan, who leads the South Atlantic Conference currently. As this one will go out of play. It'll be a Carson-Newman throw-in deep in Emory and Henry territory. Approaching 1 minute to play left in this one. Carson-Newman will get it done by a score of 4-1, more likely than not. As the throw-in goes into the box. Giles gets a piece of it, but scooped up by Reg. So Lenore Ryan matchup is big. Carson-Newman, 5 of the 6 matchups in the month of October are here at home. So if you can build some momentum on the road in the last 3 games of September and then come home for 5 of 6 in October, chance for Carson-Newman to really make a run this year. They are 1-3-1 so far this year, but they'll move to 2-3-1. And more importantly, 1-1 in the sack. Big to get that first sack win. As the clock goes towards 30 seconds left to play. It's Pettit far side. Tackle by Scales as they're tangled up. And now a whistle. So Carson-Newman still looking to get that 5th goal of the game. With 10 seconds to go, it's booted in. Headed around. Coming in is Giles. It's still kicked around the box. And now Emory and Henry will clear it. And that's how this one will end. 4-1 final. Carson-Newman gets it done over this much improved Emory and Henry team. Carson-Newman secures 3 points on the night. And they'll head on the road to take on Coker on Saturday before 2 more road games to round out the month of September. Big win for Carson-Newman tonight. Looking back at the scoring real quickly, Abby Zander got it kicked off with that rocket outside the box. And then Alba Delgado with the header, her first of 2 on the night. Charlotte Stavis scored the only goal for Emory Henry. And then Cameron Giles with one in the 72nd minute. And then Alba Delgado strikes again to put it away for Carson-Newman late in the second half. So that will do it. 4-1 your final. Carson-Newman wins. Ryan Wilkes has been with you all night long here on the Eagle Sports Network. Everybody have a good night.